Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Sports with Sajaji and Friends F1 podcast. We are live to you. We're not from Qatar. We're just sitting at our homes, but we're live to you for the Qatar sprint. We just got over a few hours ago, and we saw a McLaren 1-2. Right, a very strong performance from McLaren, putting the gauntlet down to win that World Constructors Championship. Right now, they were a 30-point lead, and yeah, it's kind of looking insurmountable at this point, unless somebody goes bowling tomorrow and kicks McLaren out of it. But yeah, kind of a boring sprint, though, right? And not much happened really.
Yeah, firstly, hello everyone and welcome to the show. Pratyush, not a very exciting sprint because it was kind of a DRS train, right? You had
Yeah,
Oscar
pretty much.
Piastri. So let's go back to the start of the sprint. We had Lando on pole, George Russell beside him, and Oscar on P3, Carlos P4, Charles P5, Max P6, and Lewis P7, and then we had the rest of the three from the other constructors rounding off the top 10. So at the start, we saw that Oscar took the jump on or got the jump on George. So he initially led a McLaren 1-2, and Russell and Science and everyone behind were in close contention. They were all like within a second. So everyone basically had a
Yeah.
DRS. Everyone basically had DRS to overtake right from the second lap itself. So McLaren saw that Oscar was under pressure from George throughout, and they instructed Lando to, give him the DRS to assist Oscar, and that helped, Oscar to, maintain that second place and not allow George. George came really close. There were sometimes couple of incidents
Oh,
wherein
they
Oscar
almost
braked.
kissed.
Yeah, they almost kissed and kissed. I think the front wings definitely touched and or the tires touched
Yep.
something. And there was one on one. I think one of the final few laps where Oscar really moved a little late. So George again, was on the radio complaining about it, but no action was taken from the FIA. So from that perspective, it was pretty intriguing because we saw that the tires were not dropping off massively for anyone. Like people were able to stay close within a second with each other. So I believe that if George did get past Oscar, he would definitely could have challenged Lando as well. But with this DRS train, I think nobody was able to get past each other. So the teams held station. And as Alabhya has mentioned in the comments here, the last lap wasn't boring. Definitely, Alabhya, last lap was not boring because we did indeed get the McLaren swap. We got the McLaren swap because why, Pratyush? What happened in Brazil?
Oh
Oscar
yeah.
led Lando through for what was called a championship fight back then.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
the reason. And Lando was basically returning the favor back to Oscar. He did it very cheekily on the I mean, in the last straight, and in such a way that George could
Yep.
not get Lando at the end as well.
Yeah,
So
that
good
could have
job.
that could have gone
Yeah,
that could have gone terribly wrong. Like George could have ended up overtaking both of them. Like, through goes Hamilton. Oh, through goes George Russell.
exactly. But good on Lando. He did return the favor. It
Yeah.
reminded me of when Lewis did it for Valtteri back in Hungary, I think 2019,
Right.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
Lewis was allowed to or get through on Valtteri and chase after the Ferraris, but when he did not get them, he let Valtteri through. So good job, Lando. I think McLaren definitely uh, are in touching distance of the constructors, right, Pratyush? They have a decent lead now. The car is looking good. Lando's looking
Yeah.
impressive here, and unless Georgie boy pulls up a big ass, quali session, and Ferrari has something pulls out a rabbit out of the hat, they're not going to beat McLaren here.
Yeah. I mean, they're what, 30 points clear at this point. um yeah, they're 30 points clear at this point. So I think McLaren should take it home. But I mean, this season has shown that you never know. You really never know. Um, I mean, we have seen some crazy things happen. But I think, yeah, I mean, if McLaren has a good Sunday tomorrow, I think they pretty much won it, right? But let's say McLaren has something go wrong on Sunday, right? I don't know. I don't know, some stupid safety car ruins it, or George Russell bins it into them, or um, FIA calls to the stewards and says, "Make it interesting." Anything can happen. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But as of now, it does look like McLaren do have the upper hand on Ferrari. I think we all came into this thinking that McLaren definitely will be having the edge on this track.
Right.
The long sweeping corners and most of the corners are medium speed to high speed, so it does suit their car.
Right,
They've
but again,
yeah,
you never know if you see the practice session yesterday.
yeah,
Ferrari was P1 and P4, and McLaren's were P2 and P3. So I think
yeah,
it's still pretty close. I mean, hopefully Ferrari would have gotten some more data from the quali and the sprint session today, and
mm,
you're allowed to break park firmly after the sprint race, right?
yeah.
You can make adjustments for quali. So yeah, hopefully Ferrari does use some of the learnings and get something out, right? Yeah, I mean, at least I know the driver's title is wrapped up, but if you can at least get the constructor fight go into the last race, I think that would be pretty cool. And it's been a long time since seen a Ferrari and McLaren fight, isn't it, Aniket? How long has it been?
It's the last time we saw McLaren Ferrari fight was back in 2012, I think. I mean, they did have a
Yeah,
good fight back then. Uh,
right,
at that time there were like 6 to 7 drivers competing for the championship, so we had some crazy times
right,
then.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I think and Ferrari definitely, second half season. If the championship started in the second half of the season, probably they would be even more closer to McLaren. But since
right,
they lost out on quite a few number of races in the first half, wherein they underperformed, they were always playing catch up. So them being this close to McLaren is super interesting because there is still something to talk about, and our streams are not boring. So we still have a championship here to discuss. So
yeah,
we are hoping that we do get a Ferrari bounce back in starting from qualifying, which is going to happen in about 50 minutes from now. So we're excited to see what
yep.
happens. But I think that's for the sprint, right? I think we did have Charles and Lewis having their own battle. We do have to talk about Lewis because a lot of comments from Lewis coming out this race. So
Yes. Before we get to Lewis, obviously that is the title of our stream today. But before we talk about Lewis, I think congratulations are in order for Max Verstappen, right? I think in his four title is probably up there, in the kind of challenge he faced. Like obviously 2021 was a seesaw battle, and then he had relatively two easy years in 22 and 23, right? 23 was a cakewalk. 22 the Ferrari was challenging, but then you know what Ferrari does, they do Ferrari things. uh,
hmm,
but then this season we all thought Max will run away with the title, and then McLaren gave a really good fight. We saw a record number of multiple race winners this season. What, seven drivers won at least twice, right?
yeah,
And that is seven out of the eight drivers in the top four teams. The missing eight driver is of course our Mexican.
who who forgot he had to start a race today? Inexplicable. He forgot he had to press the accelerator and leave from the pit lane.
Man, he got overtaken in the pit lane. Like,
As we said last race, he's checkered out.
yep, he's checked out, definitely. But yeah, congratulations to Max Verstappen. Four titles. That is really, really rare group of people in F1, right? Like, how many other people have won four or more titles, right? Alan Prost, Juan Manuel Fangio, Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher. That's it, right? Am I missing somebody? That's
No,
it,
I
right?
think
Four of the
that's it.
people.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so he's in an elite group of racers now. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see if Red Bull can give him a strong enough car next season. Maybe he can keep it going. There's also another funny stat that all drivers have won four consecutive titles, have won five consecutive titles. Um,
I
and that
hope it
just
doesn't
Shumi and
happen.
Fangio, but
I don't think it'll happen though because of how close the grid is now. It's going to be super difficult for Max to win
yep,
another title next season because I believe the cars won't be that different, and in fact, McLaren might get even more closer. I think McLaren might be the team to beat right from the get go next season because
yeah, yeah,
we don't know
definitely,
how well they would have done if they had the upgrade from race one instead of race what 5 or 6, right? Miami was the fifth
right,
race, I
right,
guess. So
Yeah, yeah.
McLaren will be the team to beat, I believe, starting next. I mean, we're going to talk about end of season review and our thoughts towards next season, but
Right, right.
just to jump the ship, I think McLaren might be more favored at this point.
Yeah, but if you look at Ferrari next season, they have Charles and Lewis, and well, talking about Lewis, that's how I come to Lewis. Yeah, what's going on, Aniket? You're the resident president of the Lewis Hamilton fan club. So what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, Pratyush, you can bring up what Lewis said after the sprint today, and maybe
Oh yes,
we'll
yeah.
talk.
Let me
You know,
share
we'll
that.
get to our thoughts based on what he's saying. So I think after the sprint quali yesterday, he kind of paraphrased, and he had mentioned that he's definitely become slow, and because he finished 4 tenths behind George. George was very close to Lando. He finished about 6 hundredths of a second behind, or 60,000th of a second behind. I think Lando.
In quali?
And in sprint quali, yeah. So George was P2, right? George finished 0.06 something was the difference in
Yeah,
quali.
yeah,
Sprint
six.
quali.
Yeah, basically, yeah, 60 milliseconds.
60,
Yeah, pretty close.
yeah. So and then Lewis finished like 4.5 tenths behind them. So I think after
Yeah,
quali,
Lewis was
Lewis said
four
that,
tenths, exactly
yeah.
4 tenths behind George. So yeah,
So we don't know what's going on. We don't know. We always keep thinking that it could be the car, but Lewis mentioned that he's just slow in quali now. So and now these are the, as you can see on the screen, these are the comments he's mentioned that he's now looking just to the end of the season. He doesn't care about these races anymore. He doesn't have an
right,
answer. He's now been out qualified, I think 17-5 in quali. I mean, that's the head-to-head going into Qatar. So 17 times, I mean, George Russell out qualified him this season out of the 22 races we've had. And also in the sprint quali, he's been, out qualified 5-1 by George, as it's
right,
mentioned here. So definitely, quali has not been his strength. I think Lewis was never a great qualifier, and that speaks volumes about him because he's still the driver with the highest number of pole positions. So for him to say this, but it's very, it's like kind of a self-reflection because uh, he's turning 40, right? And that one lap pace is, very, it's something that you gain as you gain over experience as well. And but
right,
once you start hitting the age of 30, 35 and onwards, you definitely have a little bit of, you definitely lose a tenth or two here and there because of the age and the reaction time and so on. So that's
right.
what I guess is happening with Lewis over one lap. Over the race distance, he's still one of the best at it. But quality is a little concerning, I feel. Even though he might not be serious with the comments he said yesterday, and even with the comments he said right now, where he doesn't care, but still it's a little concerning going into next season when he's going to probably go head to head with the best qualifier on the grid and Charles Leclerc.
Yep.
So
Right.
that's going to be interesting because I think at this point Lewis definitely wants to end the season. Yeah, for him it would have been nice if Qatar was the last race and he could just say goodbye to Mercedes and leave. But we have another race, so he's going to be there. He's going to show up. The race might go well for him, but quali is going to be the same thing. I think we're going to see in about whatever 45 minutes the same outcome
Yeah.
where George gets the car to whatever top three or whatever top five, while Lewis will be a couple of tenths behind him. So it's going to be the same script, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think he still got it in the race at least, right? We saw last week in Vegas when when he had a good car and he basically went from what 10th to second, right? So
Yeah,
he did put in a very good shift last weekend. So I think yeah, like you said, maybe quali. I mean, he also said all season that he doesn't feel as comfortable in the car, right? And quali, you really need to be one with the car, especially in quali, right? Because you need to know exactly where to brake and to put the. I mean, yeah, basically no fuel load, right? The car is just flying.
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's definitely where you have to be really fast, and maybe yeah, maybe Lewis feels that pace is dipping, right? But yeah, then again, I think it'll be fine. I think you still see Alonso when he has a fast car, he still does a lot of great things. Alonso
Yeah,
is a couple of years older to Lewis, and we saw last year when the Aston Martin was fast. Fernando really put in some really good timings in the first half of the season, right? So
I think in terms of the dueling with Charles Leclerc is going to be interesting. I think Lewis will definitely come up or think about how to strategize, because I don't think he's going to be a great qualifier alongside Charles. But it's
Yeah.
we know that if he gets the car where it needs to be, he's still going to storm back in the race because his race pace is second
Right.
to none. So he's
Yep.
going to
Yep.
play it. He's going to think of a new strategy to extend his career in in F1, in terms of how he's going to change his game now when it comes to moving to a team where we have one of the fastest qualifiers on the grid. So it's going to be interesting to see how he can adapt, because he's definitely adapted in so many different situations.
Yeah. I think more than adapting to Charles as his teammate, he probably has to adapt to being with a team like Ferrari when they call you into the pits, then tell you to stay out, then I can call you back. Forget to
Mm.
get your tires. I can go on with Ferrari.
Yeah, but I think with
um,
a driver like Lewis, it's going to be like Ferrari is going to be having their own challenge, because they cannot do all this shit,
yeah,
all this
Lewis is not
work
going to keep quiet like
to be a
Charles does, right?
multi-time world champion. Yeah, 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 I'm sure.
Yeah.
I
And
think
do we?
it's
I
going to be
mean, is
it's
it
going to be a
confirmed that
learning
Bono is
process.
not going to move?
It is confirmed. I don't think Bono is moving. I think Carlos's race engineer will be Lewis's race engineer to start off with,
Oh
Ricardo
man,
Adami.
that's it. It's over for
So,
Lewis.
so I'm gonna wait. I want to see how it's gonna work out, because Lewis is used to that British accent, and working with Bono, especially for the last 10, 11 years now. So
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna work with Ricardo, because he frustrates me when he talks to Carlos. So when he talks to Lewis, I don't know how frustrating it's gonna be. Because we just
Right.
heard Carlos in the last race shouting at Ricardo Adami, saying, "Wake up! What the hell are you guys doing?" or something along those lines.
Yep. Yep.
Because
Yeah.
they called him in, and then he was told to stay out. He ran over the white line, pit line, never got a penalty, and lost his place to Lewis. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, And Lucy like, hey, who's this Spanish guy? Get me Bono, man. So
Yeah,
Italian guy, sorry. Who's the Italian guy? Get me Bono.
yeah, it's gonna be
But yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
But
we'll see.
yeah, I think on the sprint we did get Max did have a very bad start, and that's the reason he ended up
Yeah,
P8. He finished behind Nico Hulkenberg, unfortunately. Unfortunately for Nico. Nico drove a brilliant race, a brilliant sprint, by the way.
I mean, I won't be surprised if Max is not. If I won't be surprised if Sergio is the only Red Bull driver who's checked out. Uh,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would
Max
think
is on the
so.
title, man. He doesn't care at this point.
I agree. He might still be a little hungover from Las Vegas.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
He's
the
like what partying till 10 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
and then they flew from Vegas to Qatar on a hangover, man. Yeah, that's not going to be
Yeah,
easy on the body, right?
exactly. So I think we can give him a pass for this
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this last
And
two
plus,
races.
yeah, I don't think he really cares, right? It's not like
Yeah.
Red Bull is going to. I don't think Red Bull can get second in the constructors
It
anyway at
doesn't
this
matter for
point.
them. Actually, finishing third is better for them. They get more internal time next year.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Oh my God, they'll get more winter time, and we'll see next year again be a snooze fest, man.
I mean, I don't think they'll get that much of internal time, but they'll still get a little more hours in the winter. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's good for them that Checo is underperforming, and Max is also like he's done, basically done, because he's got what he wanted.
Right, right. And yeah, oh, Aniket, did you see? Let me show you this. Williams today was. Oh man, give me 1 second. Come on, where is it? Here it is. Yeah, there you go. Williams are shitposting quite hard today. They're like another hard fought bottle on the track. Oh, sorry, in the pit lane.
That's fun. I mean, firstly,
Yeah.
I don't know how Franco Colapinto is racing. Like, they are literally, I don't know what kind of parts they put on him, like on the car. They found some spare part here and there from different car manufacturers and just plastered it on the car and told him to go race. That's the reason why he's like started P20 and like so far behind Alex Albon.
Yep, yep. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, wasn't James Vowell saying earlier that, with the number of crashes we had, I'm just still shocked that we're running a team or something like that. Like, because he was actually saying in context of the cost cap, it's saying how like the cost cap and all the crashes have basically, destroyed their team finances.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
But we still are waiting for
Um,
Franco Colapinto to, I mean, news on him basically, on where he's going to drive next season. So that's going to be an important decision which
right.
a team might take on him. So what's going to be happening with him is critical to other teams who have interest in him. So we're going to see if anything comes out of that.
Look at Checo shit posting, man.
Yeah, they did bring him for a front wing change in a sprint quali, in a sprint race. So I think yeah, they were doing some testing,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what testing they do, man.
Yeah,
He was out in SQ1. He's probably
he's
okay.
he's probably out in
Question to the
Q1 also.
stream. Yeah, question to the stream, and also we'll also answer. Is Sergio Perez going to Q2 today? In 40 minutes from now.
I think by the time we end the stream, Sergio Perez might be out of Q1. He might be out.
uh,
Sergio Perez might be hanging like in some Qatar, some restaurant in Qatar at this point. He very well,
right, right.
might just take the weekend off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we leave, a couple of quick news items for you guys with silly season almost here. The first one is, well, we are getting 11th team in 2026, right, Aniket?
Yeah, finally we're getting that 11th team which has, evaded F1 from a long time. How long has it been since we've had 10 team on the grid?
I don't know,
I think
more than a decade, right? It's
it's
been a
been, yeah,
while.
I think I remember like we did have 22 cars like around 2000, around 10, 11 or something, or 12, I'm not sure exactly when. When HRT was there, I think that was like 2011 or 12. We did have
Yeah, yeah,
we did have 22 to 24 cars, but yeah, it's going to be a long, long time, and it's it's great that we have finally agreed, or F1 has finally agreed on 11 team in F1. I think definitely we would love to see some new cars out there. Some of us might have got bored seeing the same old teams again and again. So we'll see
yeah,
if there's going to be like a new team which comes about, surprises everyone with the way they develop their
right.
car.
Well, apparently it was 2016 when we last had a 22 car grid.
Hmm.
Um, and guess who the 11th team was that time? Haas.
Oh, okay. So who was the what were the other teams? So which was the team that pulled out? Oh,
I
Lotus.
don't
Was
know.
it
I'm
Lotus?
guessing. Yeah, probably the Lotus team or somebody like that.
No, but Lotus became Renault, right?
Yeah, but there's another Lotus team, remember?
So okay, we need to go back and see what were the teams in 2016.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
So
fun,
let's see.
fun
There
trivia
was
question.
okay. There was Ferrari. There was Force India, which is today's Aston Martin.
Yeah,
There was Haas. There was Haas. There was McLaren Honda, as it was back then.
yeah. Mercedes,
Mercedes
Red Bull,
Manor Racing. Yeah.
Manor. Okay,
Uh,
Manor.
yeah.
Okay.
I think they went defunct.
Yeah, yeah.
Manor Racing.
Exactly. Hmm.
And yeah, then Red Bull, Renault, Sauber, Toro Rosso, Williams. Yeah, I think Manor is the
Yeah.
one that
So Manor
went
was the odd
defunct.
one out. Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, they basically closed in before the 2017 season started. Okay. Right. So yeah, that was the last time we had 11 teams on the grid. Um, yeah.
So the new team
I
is
mean,
going
they
to be called
also
Cadillac, right?
yeah. I think that's I think I think they say that F1 agreed to the 11th team because they agreed to drop the Andretti name.
Right.
I
Right.
think
Exactly.
Andretti's son, right? Michael Andretti, who was or Mario. I forgot who's the son, but one of the Andretti. But basically, a son who was leading this effort to get into F1 using his dad's name and prestige. Apparently, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way at
Yeah.
F1. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how Bin Sulayem is. I mean, he's a very irritable guy,
Yeah.
right? So,
He's
hey,
probably
don't
the
sue us, MBS.
worst president we've had in a long time.
Yeah,
I think
and come
Max
on, we have
Mosley
had
was
presidents like
worse.
Max Mosley.
Max Mosley was probably the
No, I
worst, but
think
this guy even
no,
worse.
I think he's fast becoming worse than Max Mosley. Uh, but yeah, so apparently, yeah, I think the FIA, F1, F1, I mean, whoever does all the agreements, right? I mean, there's so many F1 bodies. But yeah, he Andretti Jr. rubbed them the wrong way, and then Andretti tried to sue them. Right, the DOJ of the U.S. government stepped in. And I think then there was some behind the scenes back channel talks where basically said Andretti that if he steps away from the public eye, they would okay with it.
Yeah.
And I think they got GM to up their investment
Hmm.
and basically buy out the rest of the thing, right? So this team was originally rumored to be called Andretti Cadillac,
Right.
and actually Andretti Cadillac Renault if you include the engine supplier, because um yeah, Cadillac said they'll get into engine supply later, right? I mean, originally just supposed to be a customer team.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think now um Andretti name is not going to be there, and we don't know who the engine supplier is going to be, with Renault dropping out of making engines from 2026, and that's going to be the Cadillac's first year as well. So I think as of now, just going to be Cadillac Formula One team. There are rumors of Ferrari being their engine supplier, most probably, because I don't think anybody else can be their engine supplier at this point. With either them being new or having too many teams like Mercedes to supply. So yeah, we will see. But yeah, it's been a long time since you had 11 teams. I think the regulations allow for 26 cars or something like that on the grid. So yeah, we still have some space.
We do have
Um,
space,
but yeah, I
but it's
mean,
just that
considering
with
the fact that
the costs in F1 are so high that it's very difficult to keep a team, you know,
yeah,
on the
yeah,
grid, and if they don't perform for a long, if they don't have the funds, you need drivers to bring in funds as well. That's why you have a Checo Perez
right.
still at Red Bull. I'm sure if he didn't have any financial significance, he would not be there. But it's just that he brings so
Yep.
much of money, they have to keep him at least till the end of the season.
Yeah, I think what Carlos Slim pays Red Bull like what 30 million or something every year for the for
Yeah,
Perez racing for
probably
them.
he's the
So
major
yeah,
reason why we have a Mexican Grand Prix as well.
exactly. Um, so yeah, and yeah, I think the other rumor that just saw before the stream, Aniket, actually just saw it now when I was trying to find something, is that not Alonso. Sorry, what am I saying? Alpine. Alpine just so links Alonso in my mind, but Alpine might swoop in for Mister Argentinian Franco Colapinto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I
Alpine,
mean
I mean,
they do
Gasly is
have
there
two
next
drivers.
season, and do they have two drivers?
Yeah, they're
Gasly
the
and
rookie.
Bortoleto, right? They did sign Bortoleto from
Yep.
McLaren. Okay.
Yeah. But an F1 journalist basically said today, who that Thomas something, what is it? Thomas Maher, who's a
Yeah,
journalist
the
for Planet
German.
F1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that it's obviously speculation, but the rumors of Colapinto going to Alpine haven't gone away. With apparently sources telling him that there's still discussions, going on. And yeah, the reason this has come up today again is because Colapinto was spotted talking to Flavio Briatore in the paddock today in Qatar.
Okay.
And yeah,
So
and
are they going to
apologies. I think
have three cars on the grid or something next season?
I mean, I don't think you can have three cars on the grid,
Yeah,
but
exactly. So are they going to somehow revoke Bortoleto's contract or something? I don't know.
yeah, sorry, it's not Bortoleto, our bad. It's actually Jack Doohan who's the other
Jack Doohan.
driver.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
sure the contracts and all will be agreed with Jack Doohan as well.
yeah,
So
exactly. So yeah, we see. Yeah, Bortoleto is with Sauber, so we mix
Sauber.
those guys up.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Doohan. Well, yeah, I mean, I that's what we heard. Right? He signed a contract, but I mean, and this is not the first time Alpine has screwed up the driver contracts.
The
Do
whole
you remember
Oscar
a certain
Piastri
Australian?
shenanigans. Yeah. The whole thing on X. What a night.
Yep, yep. I mean, looking at Alpine's current struggles, I think Oscar will be very happy with the balls of steel that he had to have to pull
Oh
that
man.
off, right?
Seriously. Oscar probably, you know, managed to do a life-changing decision by,
Yep.
by tweeting that shit out when he did.
Yeah. Single-handedly saved his career, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah, that's it. I guess that's it for the stream. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure pretty of all of you have seen Landon Norris chatting more shit, saying that Max would not have won the title in McLaren,
Yeah.
but that
But
just
before
landed up
we
being
leave,
Lando.
Let's take a
Yeah.
quick stab at the
Oh
quali prediction.
yes.
We have quali coming up
Yep.
in less than half an hour.
Right.
So maybe a quick stab. Do you think it's going to be as it is as in sprint quali, or you see any changes? You see Ferrari bouncing back since they know the car more
Yeah,
now.
I think. Yeah, I think I'll do a hot take. I think we're going to see Mr. Saturday. I don't mean the guy in Mercedes. I mean the guy in Ferrari. I think
Oh,
we'll see Leclerc take pole.
but he was so pretty underwhelming in sprint race also. Do you think he still managed to get pole?
Yeah, I mean it could also be that they didn't care much about sprint, right? And the
Could
race
be.
has far more points on offer, right? They probably didn't want to
Mhm.
stress the car out too much. Also, end of the season, they don't have parts, right? Nobody has parts at this point.
Mm, okay. I think I'm going to go with the same top three from the sprint.
Oh, from the sprint. So what's that?
Lando, George,
Oscar,
Oscar.
Lando. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm not sure which order, but it will be the same top three
right. Okay,
because
okay.
I think George has showed so far in two sessions that he can really fight
Yeah,
at the front. So that's
yeah, yeah. I
making me
think
have
George will
confidence
be
in him.
there. Yeah,
It's
I
going to be
think
close.
George
It's
will
going to
be
be
the.
super close, I think. I mean, Carlos is
Yeah,
going to be there.
definitely.
Charles will be there. George will be there. I think Max and
Yeah,
Lewis
yeah.
would probably be the odd ones out who are unfortunately not going to be there. I didn't think I would
No,
be
I
saying
think
that.
Max. I think Max. I think Max definitely won't be there. He said the car is crap.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean he was struggling to overtake a Haas, man. I don't think Max is going to
exactly.
be there. It probably will be a 5A. I think it's probably 5A. No, yeah, 5A. I'm not
Yeah.
counting Lewis, unfortunately.
So it's
But
going
it's
to be
probably
Max
be a
and Lewis fighting
5A.
for 6 and 7, and the other guy, five guys fighting for the top five.
Yeah, Max and Lewis are always going together, no matter what, don't they? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's see. Hopefully, it'll be a fun one. We're going to be there
yeah,
watching it. If we have a shock poll, we'll come back and do something.
yeah.
Otherwise,
We'll
we'll
come
just
back
see
with a
you.
shock. If there's a shock poll, we'll come
Yeah.
up with a shock stream.
If Fernando Alonso somehow manages to get pole, I'll like
Oh,
do this
then
podcast
we are going to be here all night.
shirtless. I'll do this podcast shirtless. Okay. If
Yeah,
Fernando
yeah.
Alonso gets
If
pole.
if if Alonso makes pole, you're going to be here all night. We're going to a 12-hour stream. We're just going to be talking random crap about F1 all night.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll probably do another one after the race. And just
Yeah, yeah,
a small review and also a preview of the final race in Abu Dhabi
yeah,
next week.
yeah, totally. All right, fellas. We'll see you guys in the next stream. Stay safe. And oh yeah, forgot to put the banner. You know what
Oh
to do.
yeah, guys.
Tell your friends,
Yeah,
subscribe to the channel. We are now at 624. So yeah, we're getting close. So yeah, help us reach that 1K mark, fellas.
yeah. And
We'll
if you
see
do
you.
love F1 and you want to come on the show, you want to express your thoughts, whether you're a Lewis fan, Max fan, an Alpine fan, or anyone. I don't think we'll have many Alpine fans, but still, whatever you like, just drop
Yeah,
us a DM or drop the channel a
yeah,
DM, and we'd love to get you on and discuss a
yeah.
lot
We'd love
about
to
the
do a
world of F1.
collab.
Yeah,
Yeah. If
sure.
you're just an F1 fan, another F1 podcast, whoever are you, we'd love to call up. And yeah, do stay tuned to the channel for all the other sports we do. We had an NBA stream a couple of days ago. We had a Premier League stream yesterday, I think, right? And we're going to have some more cricket streams coming up with the BGT second test coming soon. And yeah, we have four sports here. So yeah, keep stay tuned, and there's a lot of sporting action coming your way. Um, so yeah, we'll see you. We'll keep seeing you.
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Catch you on the next one.
Yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye bye.